Hey everyone.
What's going on?
So
Welcome in.
we are here today to talk about one of my personal favorite characters from my childhood, Static Shock, or just Static. But yeah, I super excited for this. Have been waiting so long for this.
And I
Justice
am
is
just
served.
learning about this character because I apparently slept through Saturday morning
You live
cartoon.
under a rock, my dude.
I was watching Recess instead of,
I was watching Recess too.
I don't know. I missed it. I missed out.
So
Uh,
my introduction to Static was not in his original comics, but it was with the Static Shock TV show. I watched that shit every weekend when it came on, like first grade. Every weekend, I remember sitting in front of it. I love that show. I love it. He's one of my favorite characters in like superhero universes.
so we're going to give you guys our perspectives on how they did in this comic. And for me, looking at it from a perspective of I've never seen Static Shock, and Caroline from the perspective of this is a character that she absolutely loves. So stay tuned. We're going to talk about this one. But first, you know what to do. Subscribe, like, comment, do all the things down below, and we'll roll the intro. Welcome back.
Hello. Glad you stuck around.
Hopefully, you guys were jamming out there.
You gotta.
So, got this, but I found out I shouldn't start here.
Well, I
I
mean,
need
you
to start.
can, but this explains it a little bit.
It does. It really does.
This is
It
the how he gets his powers in his universe. And
Yeah.
reading this, it's kind of like, hey, you either chose to read this or you don't really care too hard about it. You already know. If you already know the character, you don't necessarily need this. If you don't, I highly recommend it. If you just want some context for the universe, it's beneficial.
So, are there any differences between how he got his powers now versus how he got them in the past?
Yes and no. Well, okay, so I can only go based off of the show that I have seen. And in the show, he gets his powers. He is essentially trying to join a gang to get protection from his high school bully. I know it sounds a little extreme. And so there's this big gang war happening at the docks, and there's these gallons of like flammable chemicals or whatever. It just says like
Okay.
a flammable symbol on it. And it's like danger, biohazard. Cop shoots something at it, it explodes, and it causes this gaseous explosion that they have then created what they call bang babies in the show. And the people that were there get powers.
Okay.
So that's how he gets his powers in the show, at least. So it's kind of similar. He's at a protest, a Black Lives Matter protest in the new comic, and they get gassed with this new kind of off-brand tear gas. Like
Yeah.
the cops weren't supposed to be using it, and it like wasn't approved, and there's like hush hush, and they're like, just use it anyway. And then all these kids start getting bang babies.
Yeah. They they killed some people too, didn't it?
Yes. Yeah, it kills some people, like straight up kills some people, gives some people powers, doesn't give some people any powers. Not everybody was affected. It's more
Yeah.
of a amount you ingested, I feel.
That could be. Yeah.
Technicalities that I don't get to know.
But again, he was trying to avoid his bully by going to the protest, I think. That's what
Mm-hmm. And the bully is the same character in the comics as in the show. It is Francis. Hot
Yeah.
streak.
Yeah, and he still found his bully at the protest.
Yeah. And it made me actually really happy because I just went back and started rewatching the show. And Hot Streak is the bully in the first two episodes of the show, and he's going to be the bully for the first at least issue, probably next issue as well, given given that ending there. But
Yeah. It makes me want to go watch the show now. And I will be watching it at some point. But this was for me like not knowing anything about the character. I felt like they explained once I read this. I felt like they explained everything really well in like who he is, how he gets his powers, kind of the motivations behind the character.
You meet his friends. You learn a little bit about, his ideals and whatnot.
Yeah, and I'm really digging the art on this too.
Yes, it's so good. I love it. I have no qualms about this. Like, I just think it's phenomenal.
Vita Ayala doing the story. Layout by ChrisCross. Finishes in color by Nikolas.
ChrisCross, like ChrisCross?
Like ChrisCross, I'm pretty sure.
ChrisCross does comics. Okay.
Yeah.
He's now caught that. I thought there was a space there.
Nope.
That was one word.
Carrie Randolph doing cover A here.
It's so good.
Yeah. There was that great homage. I know you're gonna try to hunt down if it's not too crazy. That's the 1 in 25.
I love it.
But yeah, from the perspective of not knowing anything about the character, I really enjoyed reading this.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm like, crap, there's another book to the pull list.
Yeah. I will say really the only difference I've seen so far is that he doesn't have a mom in the show and he does in the comic. And it's a little bit less of a broken family in the comic. That's the only difference, and it's not a bad difference to have.
That is a good, yeah.
Especially because, like, when you think about the comic is about, I think, Static, and like he has a single mom and stuff like that. So it kind of changes as, the stories go.
And that's not to say that the villain isn't going to do something that.
Yeah, no, she could totally be off. That is possible.
I mean, based on how this ends, I don't think he's afraid to go there.
Yeah. I'll just say this is my personal favorite panel, is we got a little D&D chat going on.
Oh, yeah, that was great.
Virgil Hawkins is canonically a dungeon master, my friends.
Yep.
And that made my little heart so happy.
I'm so
And I also need to know what characters Frida and Virgil and Richie play. I need to know.
Yeah. It's so, yeah. I mean, even above that, even like.
Yeah, the static electricity. God,
yeah.
I love it. I love it so much. It's such a dope character.
Yeah. Everyone watching, I don't read a lot of DC comics. I read Batman
comic
because James Tynan's writing it, and I pick up the Joker book because James Tynan's writing it. I think that's it. And then now I'm checking this one out, and I'm in. I'm in on Milestone. I don't know if I'm going to read the other ones within it based on the character introductions here. Mm-hmm. Icon and Rocket seemed a little interesting. Sounded like they might interact with Static at some point.
Yeah, and I have a feeling they're going to do like a season 1 event to kind of wrap up.
Agreed.
I want ongoing Static.
Yeah. So
I would read this. I would read it weekly if they pulled that Spider-Man trash, but I would read it. I would do it.
Yeah.
It's one of the very few characters I love.
And right now we've got it planned as 6 issues, it looks like, with season 1. And like you said, maybe they'll do a season 1 event, and then we'll get.
And then there's a movie coming out that's being produced by Michael B. Jordan.
They're going all in on Static again, so they're bringing the big guns in the comic to
I've literally been waiting like a decade of my life for this to come back.
But yeah, from the perspective, like I said again, not knowing anything about the character, I don't feel like this left out anything that I needed to know about the character in order to understand the dream production. I think it was well done from that regard.
And it's kept very similar to, at least what I know to be his story.
Yeah.
I read the original comics, so there is that.
But they had to have, built the show off of something. Mm-hmm. So hopefully they kept that pretty close to the comics. at least in his origin and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on Static?
Go read it. It's one of the few superhero books that I highly, highly, highly recommend.
So thanks everybody for watching. As always, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Like the video. Drop a comment. Sure, I'm gonna get some comments about how could you have not watched Static. So put those down below.
Get 11 in a rock, my dude.
I'm gonna be watching it now. It's gonna happen. And as always, collect what you love. See you guys next time.
Bye, everyone.